It's Inappropriate Reefer, right?
Inappropriate Reefer here.
Hey, John, do you have any tip for clams in general? For Maxima Clam?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things with Maximas. Maximas are the hardest ones to keep, as we talked about before. On the selection of the clams is really important, making sure, especially on the smaller ones, 2.5 to 3 inches, they're going to react when you put your hand and cover the light over them. You'll see them kind of react. The bigger ones, they don't react quite as much. They will, but they're not as quickly. The smaller clams, you're definitely going to want to feed. We use the Reefer Nutrition Phyto Feast.
Oh, great stuff.
You know, and we've showed some videos in the past of putting the cup over it and isolating.
That's a great tip too.
It works great. You know,
when can people find that video, by the way? Did you guys post it as well? Or
yeah, we did.
On...
Actually, a Mighty Nano tank over there did. And if we need to, I could redo one. It's very simple. But in a clam that's under 3 inches, you most definitely have to feed them some sort of phytoplankton. Usually 2 to 3 times a week, if not more.
The larger clam will also benefit from phytoplankton dosing, right?
What's that?
They would also, like the larger ones will also benefit from
dosing. The larger ones, and you know, these clams, as they're creating the shell, they're consuming calcium out of the water. So yeah, you're going to need to make sure your alkalinity is stable. You need to make sure that your calcium is up where it needs to be. The more clams you have, the more you're going to need of everything. Same thing with the size of the clams. These big guys, they may not necessarily need to be fed phytoplankton as often, but they are going to be consuming some of the elements in the water, the calcium, the alkaline.
I have 2 questions, that's all right. And I'm going to cut this so it's more concise. One is about acclimation. The other one is about placement.
Okay.
So acclimation, like would you recommend a longer acclimation for these guys?
There's a lot of different beliefs as far as acclimation out there. And what I've figured out over the years is temperature, number one, as in fish, clams, any inverts. Get and float the bag for a good 15 minutes. If the water's really cold in the bag or really warm in the bag, let it float a little bit longer. But you want your temperature to acclimate in the bag. Fish, inverts, I always do a fast drip acclimation. When I say fast, usually 15-20 minute drip acclimation, dripping your water into their water. I also would recommend a drop or two of some sort of ammonia binder, so like M12, and it really depends on how long the fish has been in the bag. So if the fish has been in the bag for several hours, he's going to obviously lower the pH in that bag. He's also going to increase the ammonia. And the secret there is that the higher the pH, the more toxic the ammonia becomes. So if you start dripping your higher pH water into their bag, which is their lower pH water, that ammonia that's in the water is going to become 10 times more toxic and kill your fish right in the acclimation.
That's a great tip, actually.
So same thing with the clams. Now, I don't use M12 with the clams. Basically, the clams, I just temperature acclimate and I put them right in once they're temperature acclimated.
Gotcha. How about placement for Maximas?
Placement on the Maximas, you know, it's going to vary obviously from different light to different light. These are under T5s, they seem to be doing really well. And the ones in my front display tank are under metal halides with some LED. They're doing really well. I don't have any directly under LEDs, but I always like to start clams at about mid-level in your tank.
Got it.
See how they react. And you know, if they close up, usually it's too much light. And you know, you could very simply burn them. So you got to move them up and down. I wouldn't change the intensity of your light, yet I would move your clam up and down until you see it get to that happy point.
How about in terms of like orientation and water flow? Like I see there have like 2 siphons, 2 openings. Is there a preference towards like?
You know, I just like in any reef tank, I want to see variable flow throughout the tank. And if you look at the small Maxima display tank, you'll see his mantle is completely open.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of flopping from either side. So I think variable flow is very, very important. But don't put them in a dead spot. Don't put them in a spot where they're getting blasted. Either one of them will damage that mantle.
Got it. Hey, John, thank you so much. I know I can't put you on the spot.
No problem. No problem.
You guys, I didn't give him a heads up. It just was like, hey, John, let me ask you some questions.